today I'm going to tell you 5 tips which will help you becoming from a beginner level developer to a pro level developer. So these are some of the 5 mistakes, very common mistakes which most of the developers do. So today in this video we are going to discuss about those mistakes, that what are those mistakes which most of the beginner developers do. So this is going to be the first one. As you can see, I have simply created a button over here and there's a handle click function, and I'm using Next.js because obviously Next is nowadays in trend. So those who are new to React and Next, this can be beneficial for them as well. So before starting the video, guys, make sure you have liked and subscribe the channel. Do subscribe the channel. It gives me a lot of motivation to keep going. So before any further delay, चलते हैं हम यहाँ पे बढ़ते अपने towards the code. Okay guys, so coming up to our first question, this is, as you can see, we have a one button over here. We have the set count, we have the use state. We are using use state to create the state over here. We have the count, and on the click of the button, what is happening? Simply the count is increasing by 1. So let's just check it out on the front end. So if we click it over here, you can see the count is increasing by 1. We copy this, and a lot of people do this common mistake. So they think, let's just say if we paste it 3 times, so what do you think, will the count be increased by 3 after the handle click function is called? So let's just check it out. I will refresh it and I'll click it once, and the count is still increasing by 1. So why is this happening? This is happening because the reference which it is getting over here is 0 itself. So again, after this, here also it will get the same reference. So as you can see in the until and unless the execution is not complete, it will take reference 0 itself. So what we can do, if we don't want to do it like this and we want the to increase by 2 in a single function, so we don't want to use 2 over here, so what can we use? So for that, simply we can do something like this. Let's just say if we have this set count, and as you can see, this is taking the previous argument, and now the previous argument is converting by 1. So whatever the previous value is, it is converting that by 1. And if you copy this one now, if you copy this and if you paste this, let's try this out, what this gives us. So I'll click it on this. So as you can see, the value is incrementing by 2. So why this is happening? This is happening because this time it is returning, like if you use this previous function, if you use a callback function over here inside the set state, so it takes the whole parameter and it returns the latest value. So over here, it will take the latest value itself. So it doesn't take the old reference value, it takes the latest value. So this way you can increase the count by 2 in a function. So this is something, and this was the first step. Coming up to the second tip. Okay, guys. So coming up to the second thing, coming up to the tip number 2, which is there that you see a lot of times you use input field and you have a information like name. That let's say there is an object, you have name, age, number inside the object. So if you have an input field, I'll have simply taken an input field, and let's say this input fields take the number. Okay, so now if you want to update the, I'm sorry, it takes the name. So now let's just say if you want to update the name over here. So how you can do it? We can simply do a on change function over here, and inside the on change handle name change we can do. Okay. So inside this we can simply call this handle change function, and let's create this handle change over here, const handle change, and this inside this what we are gonna do. So over here right now, let's say we want to use the set user info. So inside the state, let's just say you want to store the state as now you want to store the name as event dot target dot value. So if you do this event dot target dot value, so you might think that this will take this event, and we have to pass the event over here. So let's say we pass name change function over here. So now you might think that this will give us the name. So let's just try to console log it that what the user info is storing. So we have this user info, and let's try to console this one user info. Okay, so now if you change the name, let's just say I change the name to Nikhil. So you might see that what is happening, it is taking this nikh, only it is taking the storing the name in the object. So if you will see this, if I'll again refresh it, so first it has name, age and number. So first it has all the three parameters, but right now if you store this, it is only taking the name as Nikhil. So this is not the correct way to do it. Let's just say it is removing these two and it is creating a new object kind of. So what you need to do is, let's just say if we do dot dot dot, it is called spread operator, and then we take the whole user info. So it will copy this, it will copy the user info and it will store it over here. And now if we check at the output over here, so let's just refresh it once, and have the name, age, number. Age is by default 25. So now I store Nick. Now you will see that age, name and number, all three values are being stored, and name is getting updated as well. So it is not removing the other objects, it is not removing the other keys in the object. Instead it is updating the only key which we want to update. So this is how you update a single event inside the object. Okay, guys. So coming up to the third tip, which I have here, that a lot of you have might used forms in your React or Next code. So there are a lot of fields. Let's just say name, last name, age, phone number, address. So there are a lot of things which you need to update. So instead of name, I'll just do it first name. So fi first name. Okay. So let's just say this is the first name, then the last name. So all those are there, and what you need to do is you need to update all the value, all the input fields value when the data is being stored. So what you might think is, again the same way, let's just say if we want to store the first name and we want to send it in the form. So what we can do is we can do on change, same way we have done earlier, using the handle change function over here. So the handle change, we have passed the handle change over here, and again I'll have a event inside it, or instead of a event you can simply just use handle change over here. And let's say you have this handle change over here, and now you have this e, and let's say you want to set user info. So let's say you want to set the user info, and here we are setting the first name, and the first name we are storing as, let's just say e dot target dot value. Okay, so we have stored the first name over here, and this user info over here. So let's save this and now try to run it on the server. So okay, so we have the user info over here, and we have this personal information over here. Let's try to store the name as nik. So again same issue is happening, we have seen, but let's say we are getting other values. Let's say we get the user info over here. Okay, the user info we got over here. So again what will happen, you might think that now what we will do, that now let's just now try to store the nick. So it is again having the other values, but now what if you want to change it for all the input field? So we don't need to do this again and again, we don't need to do the set function again and again, but let's say if you do it for the on change, you we will use the same function for all the input field, and for the age also, for the this also, for number also, and for address also. Okay, so for our address also we'll use this. So now what will happen in this case, I'll tell you. So let's just say we have this last name. Okay, so last name I'll say Kant. Okay, so it will store that in the first name, it will not store it in the last name. So how we will solve this problem in the form, that we want each of the values to be stored in the particular field. So if you'll notice one thing, the state which we have taken and the names of the field are same, first name, last name, and the state names are also same. So what we can do instead is we can use JavaScript over here, and we can give the name as like this. And now what we are getting in this event listener function, so we also getting the name, we are also getting the name of the target. Okay, so instead of doing this, what we can do is e dot target dot name. Let's just say we do this. We have done e.target.name, and this will get the name and store that name, and also the similar, like it will match the name and it will match the value. So for first name, it will store the first name value in the first name, and it is similar to the state. So this will match. So now let's try it on the browser. I'll remove this. Let's say I have done this neck, then I have this Shankar. Let's say, so as you can see, the user info is now getting stored in their particular field. Let's just say 18, I want 12, age I want 12. So age is getting stored in age over here. I want number 9132. So this is getting stored in their particular field. So this is how you can accumulate all the data in a single state if you are using forms, and you don't have to write different functions for each of the fields. Like you can use single function for all of the field, and you can use like you can simply store the value inside all of them at once. So this is how you can do it, and this is how you can optimize your code. Okay, guys. So moving on to the tip number 4, we have a simple button. We have a simple button over here, and on click of this button, we need to calculate the total price, and the current items are 0. Okay. So let's just say the item price is 10, per item price is 10, and we have the total item 0. So on click of the button, what we are doing, on click of the button, we are we are calling the add item function, which is over here, and this add item function is incrementing the items by 1. So now if we want the total price now, so let's just say if we have to make one more state over here, const total comma set total is equal to use state. Let's say currently the total is 0. So we will have a use effect over here, and in this use effect, what we are going to do is, let's say whenever the items change, okay, let's just say the item, we have increased the item, so जो हमारे items है वो बढ़ गए, ठीक है. तो अभी हमें क्या करना है कि हमारा जो use effect के अंदर हमारे items बढ़ने के बाद we are gonna set the total. Okay, we are gonna set the total into items price, so we will increase the total amount. So this is how we are gonna use it. Sorry. So this is now let's just see it on the front. So the total price is 0. Now we are adding an item, and the price is getting to 10. We are adding 2 items, the price is 20. We are adding 3 items, the price is 30. Okay, total price is also already written. Okay, sorry, I don't have to write that. I can do this simply. So now the total price will be 40. So we have 4 items, we are multiplying it by 4. So instead of using a use effect, instead of creating another state, what you can do is, there is a simple way to do it. What you need to do is, you just remove this, and instead of this, make a simple state const total over here, and whatever the total will be, you can do it like items into price. So this will do literally the same thing. I'll show you this to you. So now the item is 0, price is 0. So we, let's just say we increase the item by 1. It is getting 10. 2 items 20, 3 items 30. So what is happening over here? Like we don't need to use another state. Like the item price is already sorry, the items are already increasing, so the state is changing. So that's why it will always call this and update this total. So you don't have to use another state, you don't have to use another use effect. So this is quite simple and um, optimized way of doing it. So this is how you can optimize your code. So this was tip number 4. Okay, everybody. So moving on to the tip number 5, which we have here, the last tip, and this is quite interesting one. It is difference between primitive and non-primitive type. So let's just say we have this reset price over here, and this will reset the price to 0. Initially, the price is $50. Okay. So now what we want to do is, we have created a button which has a reset price function. It is resetting the price to 0. So now if we log over here, log, and component mounting. Okay, let's say okay, we will see if the component is mounting how many times. Okay, Now if I'll click on this, as you can see, initially the component is mounting. Okay, I'll click on this reset price. The component is mounting, but if I again click on this, it is not mounting again and again. So as you can see, it is only mounting when I was resetting it. It is not calling the component again and again. And I'll show you for this. I'll also show this for you. That let's just say if I do this, I'll do this true. Okay, let's say the value is true over here. Okay, and I again do this. I again reset it, and okay, if I click on the price, it is mounting, and now it is not calling the component again and again. As you can see, it is only calling the component once and once while the initial render. So what is happening over here, I'll explain this to you. Now instead of this, let's try object over here. Okay, let's say price 0. Now we have set it price. Instead of price, let's say rate over here. Sorry, and we are doing the rate to over here. Let's have it 1. Okay, and over here we're doing it 0. So price dot rate we have here. Okay, now let's just save it, and we will go on the front end side. Let's just remove this. So now you can see that there's a reset price over here. Okay, so initially the component has mounted. So now what we'll do, we will reset the price. So it is resetted to 0, but if we click it again and again and again, the component will again call this. So why this is happening in this case, why it is happening in object case, why it is not happening in other cases? So I'll tell you, I'll explain this to you simply over here on the console. So let's say we have a const a equal to 1, enter, and we have const b equal to 1. Okay, so let's say we want to console dot log a equal to b. So we want this. So as you can see, it is giving true. Again, same way, if we have um, const a equal to, now we want const a equal to, let's just say this time we are initializing it as true, maybe not true. Instead of true, let's give it a string. Okay, the okay, and const b is also equal to the, and now we will log a equal to b. Again it is giving true. So as you can see, it is giving it true, but now we do this for an object. Let's say const a equal to, and we have a single entry name nick over here, and we enter this, and again we are doing this for const b equal to, we'll give it the same value. Okay, we'll not change the value, give it the same value. So we have give it the same value as nick. So now if we compare both of the values a equal to b, it will give us false. So why this is happening? This is happening because in JavaScript, it treats the integer value, string value, boolean value as same while on strict checking. But if we use it as an object, it will, if we compare an object, it will give us false, because you can think it as a think it of as a, let's just say there are two boxes, there are two different boxes, we have same thing inside the boxes, but the boxes are different. So the references which it creates are different, and in case of variable, in case of integer string, it is same. So that's why it gives true, and when it gives true, it doesn't re-render the component. When we have the when we were having the numbers over here, we were having the string, we were having the number, it was not re-rendering the component. But when we have the object, it will re-render, because at the reference, it doesn't take the both of the value as same. So when the values are same, it doesn't re-render, but if the value is different, it re-renders the component. So this was it for the video. I guess you like the video, and if you want more tips and tricks like this, like if you want more um, tips on Next and React.js like this one, so do let me know in the comment section. And if you have any doubts regarding the video, let me know. And also guys, make sure to like, share and subscribe the channel. I mean, I really want to get close to 100 subscribers, not being greedy, but it really motivates me to upload the video. Till then, We'll see you in the next video. Tab tak ke liye, bye bye, tata, take care guys.